Hey guys, thank you so much for being here for my Insecure chat. I'm super excited that this show is back because it's one of my favorite shows, if not my very favorite show. I just love it so much. But if you are in the room, go ahead and say hello. I think I did like one video on the season three, maybe, or maybe like all the seasons, because now we're in season four. But I feel like I did maybe just like one video on all the episodes last time, but I don't remember doing weekly chat. So I'm just kind of using this as a guide to let me know, like, if you guys want me to do this every week, like to see what kind of response I get from this, and if there's several people here and you guys seem to like it, or if there's people that end up watching it like after it's no longer live, then we can keep doing these weekly. If not, we'll just do them all at like the very end. But I already see some people in the room. So we have Zephyr and Michael. Hey, thank you guys so much for being here. So let me start with my thoughts about what I've thought about the first two episodes. Hi, Zaire. Thank you so much for being here. Um, I feel like not a lot of stuff has happened yet. I'm so excited to have it back because basically I don't think it wasn't on at all, like, right in 2019. Like, it got delayed like a year, right? Because I think Issa had like a bunch of work she was doing, because basically she was the lead in a movie that I haven't seen. I saw the previews for that a bunch, but I haven't seen that movie and I can't remember the name of it. And then also I saw her in the movie Little, which I don't know if you guys have seen that, but if you like Issa, like, I think you'll love that movie. That movie is hilarious. Like, I laughed and laughed and laughed. I love that movie so much. So anyway, just I was super happy that it is back, but I feel like not a ton of stuff has happened in the past two episodes. And honestly, last night I was feeling like the episode was pretty short. Now I know they're only 30 minutes, but it just felt like this one went by so fast and not a lot happened. And I always check in with the Insecure Facebook page, and I've seen so many people like asking for longer episodes. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't know if we need longer episodes. I kind of feel like we just need more stuff to go on in the episodes. I did see on Twitter that Issa said next week's episode is like one of her favorites, so maybe more things are going to happen. What are your guys' thoughts so far on the first two episodes? I'm going to start by talking about Molly, because she always has dating drama, and she's had that again this season. I think her new boyfriend, if we can call him that, I liked him from last season and I like him this season. I think she comes across as kind of desperate, and I feel like she's pushing him really hard, and pretty much till the end of yesterday's episode, I was like, this guy is leaving. Like, he's not going to deal with her. And even when he called her, like, I was expecting him to say, hey, I don't think this is going to work or whatever. Like, basically, I thought it was just like a courtesy call. But it seemed like he was, kind of apologizing for not wanting to open up to her. And it seemed like that he was going to try to, be with her for a while. So, I feel like everyone has tried to warn Molly about being like kind of desperate and too pushy and too, I guess, she's looking for the perfect person, which obviously nobody's perfect. And because of that, I think she keeps having failed relationships. I also think she's probably dated some people that weren't, really good for her either. So I don't know if this guy is going to end up being good for her. Like, obviously he's got some issues maybe with his family or maybe some stuff in his past. And also something that really turned her off is that he was dating other people and she kind of assumed that they were exclusive, but I guess she never had that talk with him. So I think she still doesn't love the fact that he's dating others. And I think she definitely wants to be exclusive with him. So I think that's something that could happen. I can see them becoming exclusive, but I don't know. What do you think about Molly and her relationship status? Okay, so we also have Lawrence with a new love interest. Now, this person is Condola, who is really pretty successful. I feel like it's a good match for him. However, I'm always team Issa and Lawrence. Like, I think they're endgame, and I've always wanted them together. And I hope, by the time this show ends, that they end up together. That's just my personal opinion. I think they're meant to be together. Thank you, Andrew. Andrew is Molly's love interest. Thank you so much. So, but Condola, I would say, like, let's say if my ex-boyfriend was Lawrence and I saw that his new girlfriend was Condola, I would be very concerned if I still had any feelings toward this ex-boyfriend. I'm not saying that I think Issa does, but I don't think she's like ready to come out and say it. Like, I think deep down she still cares a lot about him and probably would eventually like to have him back. But I would be like super concerned because this woman, Condola, she's got everything going for her. She's nice. She has a great personality. She's beautiful. She's successful. And I would be very worried that that relationship with her and Lawrence is going to work. If I was still interested in the ex, I would be very concerned. But we have this other dynamic here because Condola and Issa are friends and they work together. I guess they work together. No, they're working together like on the block party, right? They're trying to get that underway. And then we also have the jealousy element because now they're becoming like pretty good friends, and Molly is feeling a little threatened by that friendship. She didn't really love the fact that they all had to eat together in last night's episode. So we've got that element as well. What are your thoughts about Condola and Lawrence's relationship? What are your thoughts about Condola and Issa trying to be friends? So definitely Lawrence didn't like the fact that Condola and Issa have been talking about him, and they both tried to tell him, which was true. They weren't talking about him in like a weird way. They were just kind of making fun of the fact that he likes mayo with his fries and just like some stuff like that. But he didn't like it. He even talked to his friends about it. He didn't know how to handle it. I thought it was kind of weird that he felt like he needed to meet Issa in person. Not only that, like to discuss this, but not only that, he didn't want Condola to find out about it. All of that would be pretty weird to me if I were Condola and found out that like he felt like he had to meet up in person with his ex to discuss us discussing him. I don't know. I feel like it's, you know, nothing went down, nothing was shady, whatever, but it seems a little bit weird to me. I don't know why they couldn't have had a conversation like on text or something. I thought it was a little bit weird. I would feel uncomfortable with it, really, if I was Condola. And so you have the big difference here with the relationship between Issa and Lawrence and Condola. And Lawrence is like, Lawrence has got his life together now and he's working and he's in a good place. And when he was with Issa, he was in a really bad place. He was like not working. He was kind of unmotivated. She thought he was coming across as lazy. So it's like, I guess in a way, I can still see it bothering Issa because like Condola has the better version of Lawrence, which is kind of a bummer if you're in Issa's position. Hi, T. Thank you so much for being here. But I'm still really interested for those of you in the room to hear what you have thought about the first two episodes, whether that's great or bad or whatever. What do you think about the storylines for the different characters? Do you think like Issa and Lawrence will end up together in the future? Do you want that to happen? Do you feel like he should be with Condola? Should he be with her forever? You know? We also have Kelly, who's great for like comedic relief. She's hilarious, and I always look forward to like whatever's going to come out of her mouth in each episode. But so far, you know, I'm just like not in love with this season. Like, I don't think it's fantastic or anything, but I'm just so happy to have the show back that it's like, well, at least I have it back. And especially during this time, and I hope you guys are doing well with everything that's going on in the world. I hope you guys are staying safe and, you know, you're healthy and everything. But, you know, it's hard to find things to watch right now because, you know, we have Netflix and all of that, but that gets old after a while. So I'm really happy to have something new and fresh back. It's like, oh my God, this is great that we have this every week. Zephyr says you like the first two episodes. So yeah, I have no real complaints with them other than, I guess my complaints would be like not a ton of stuff has happened. But again, it's the very start of the season and not all seasons of every show starts out with like some crazy, crazy moment or crazy, crazy drama. I'm sure there will be drama and crazy moments and who knows what to come this season. Zephyr says, curious to see what causes Molly and Issa to break up. Right, so it's looking like there's going to be some trouble with their friendship. And I thought it was pretty interesting when Andrew called her while they were on their hike yesterday, or in yesterday's episode. And, you know, he actually said it was actually pretty a positive conversation because he seems like he wants to stick with the relationship and everything. And then Issa was like, hey, who was that? And she was like, oh, it was a work thing. So it was like, oh, she's already trying to distance herself a bit from Issa because, I mean, if it were my best friend, I'd be like super excited to be like, hey, it was Andrew. And like, it sounds good because I've been stressing and it sounds positive, you know, it sounds like we can work on this. And I mean, I'm feeling like it's going to be the Condola thing that is it's already caused like a rift between the two of them. And I guess maybe that's going to lead them to having like a friend fallout, like a falling out as friends. I don't think whatever happens with Molly and Issa would be like forever. I think that they will become friends again. I hope so. I see people hating on Molly like constantly online, especially like in Facebook on the Insecure Facebook page. I've never disliked Molly. I like her. I don't have a problem with her. And I don't want her to like not be friends with Issa. I think I do think she cares about Issa, and I think, Molly really wants. I think she really wants like a serious relationship. I could see her getting married like within the show. I think she is really like ready to meet someone to like settle down, get engaged, get married, start having kids, stuff like that. Like I think she's really like at that level. I also thought that the TSA Bay was funny, and apparently he's done because she basically said she didn't want to deal with him anymore. So we're not gonna have him, I guess, around in the other episodes. I don't think that anyone thought that that was like a potential like long-term love interest for Issa. It was just like something to pass the time. That's how I viewed it. But I thought he was kind of funny. I liked his personality. I thought he was funny at the event from last week. But who are your guys' favorite characters, or what do you hope happens in this season? I'm just hoping for some. I like I like when there's like some drama situations. So I'm excited to see like what type of drama goes down in this season. I find it a super relatable show. Like it just seems so relatable. Like I feel like I love Issa as a person, as an actress, and as a character in this show. Like I just think she's so relatable. So that's one of the reasons I think it's such a good show, and it's almost like a revamp of Sex and the City. If you guys watch that, which that show's like a million years old, but it definitely reminds me of like a more modern Sex and the City. Sex and the City never really resonated with me the right way because I watched it later on, but I was too young to relate. Like, to me, the people were like super old, because I just was never couldn't relate on that level, even though I think it was very well done. But now I can relate to these characters. So I think it's really cool that HBO wanted to kind of, to me, make a new Sex and the City, totally revamp for modern times. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like to me, and it's now something that as an adult I can relate to much better than Sex and the City. Zaire says Molly's not ready for a serious relationship. She's desperate for one. She needs to work on herself and be alone for a minute. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if Andrew is going to end up working out. I know she wants that to work out. She wants that to be like a serious relationship. But I could also see that not working out because of what you said, because she's desperate and she's clingy and she's not ready for it. And it's like, I felt like when she had him at her house for dinner, it was like an interrogation. It was really weird. She was really like grilling him, and, they really haven't been together that long. And I feel like it's not that big of a deal that he hasn't told her. I think she said they were together for a month, and I don't think it's a huge deal that he hasn't told her like his whole history, and it's all about his family and all of that. And I think when she initially started asking like about the deal with his sister, and he seemed weird about it, but she kept going. And I think if that were me and I had asked the initial question, because you really have no idea like what this guy's family dynamic is, and if someone acts weird about it or acts like they don't want to talk about it, like, then my next step is not to keep pushing you to talk about something uncomfortable that really doesn't matter at this point. I mean, yes, obviously that's important in his life, but I don't feel like he needed to be interrogated, or it was almost like she was like questioning someone who she felt had been cheating on her, which that's not the case, but it was like she was just pushing and pushing and pushing. And like his family dynamic and what has happened with his family shouldn't have that big of a concern right now for her. Zephyr wants Andrew and Molly to work out. See, yeah. I mean, do I want it to work out? I do. I just think she'll mess it up. But I also think that she hasn't had good luck in the show with relationships. So I also think it's time for her within the show to have a good relationship. So, I think she deserves that. I do. That's because I do like Molly, even though a lot of people that are viewers criticize her, and a lot of people, like, I feel like her friends in the show are hard on her. And, I also think it's really funny, like, the relationship she has with the guy in her office who, like, totally hates her. And she was, like, talking to him about Cabo and all that. She was, like, trying to recommend a restaurant. And he was like, it's an all-inclusive. And he just, like, shut her out. He's like, I don't need, he's basically saying, like, I don't need restaurant recommendations. It was just really, he's funny. Like, that just cracks me up. But anyway, or maybe not next season. So I would like to see her have like a promising relationship too. And she kind of had that with, I think, was it Daniel? Was that his name? I liked him too. But that ended up not working out. But, maybe somebody new this season. I don't know anything about that. I don't know if that's coming or whatever. But Diva says Molly is misunderstood. Okay, Zephyr is asking about Tiffany and her husband. I do agree that she's misunderstood. Yes. So I think that Tiffany kind of bothers me. I feel like she kind of bothers the characters in the show too. And I feel like I forgot. I remember there was some sort of drama, and you guys have to remind me. Wasn't there some sort of drama with her and her husband or something from last season? I almost feel like they're kind of fake in a way. Like, I think she really wants to come across as like this like superpower couple, and oh my God, they're having a baby and all of that. And I don't know when that baby's due, but it's got to be born this season, right? And I also think it was kind of shady. Like, she knew. I feel like she kind of knew what was going down between Condola and Lawrence from the baby shower, but like she never said to Condola, like, hey, that was my friend's ex. Not that it really matters, I guess, but I don't know. But I remember and I've forgotten there was some kind of something with Tiffany and her husband from last season that was like unresolved, and now I don't remember what that was. But Tiffany is like one of my least favorite characters on the show just because I feel like she's really like not very genuine and just is like kind of concerned about her appearance and coming across a certain way. Um so that's my thoughts on that. Does anyone else have any thoughts about the first two episodes? What do you hope happens this season? Or about Molly, about Lawrence, about Issa, about Condola? As far as my favorite characters, I mean, I love Issa, so she's my favorite, but I also really like Lawrence. I love both of them, so that's also why I want them together. But did you guys know that Lawrence was not supposed to, Jay Ellis is who plays Lawrence, and he wasn't even supposed to be in the show at this point, but I guess they felt like he was so popular and he did so well in the show that they wanted to continue to have him as a character. So I'm really glad because once I started watching it, I really liked him, and I'm glad that he's still in the show. And I don't follow a lot of celebrities like on social media, but I do follow Issa and Jay on Twitter. So that says a lot for me and like how much I like them because I don't even though I like a lot of shows and stuff, I don't really want to know much more about the actors in real life, but I do follow both of them. So I like both of them a lot. So is there anything else that we need to talk about or any comments that you guys have or questions or observations or anything that you want to say about the show? It made me so sad last year that the show didn't come back. It was on high, whatever you call it. It just didn't come. We didn't have a new season last year, and I was like really missing it because I remember like Googling to find. I was like, it's time for it to come back, like last spring or whenever it normally. I think it used to come out in the fall. And I was like trying to figure out why it wasn't back. And then I found out that it wasn't coming back. And I was like, no. So it's so great that it is back and it's back in our lives. And I know like before we know it, it'll be gone again and I'll be sad because it's just like the episodes are short and the seasons are usually kind of short. And then we'll have to wait like a whole year, who knows, maybe even longer for the next season to come about. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that I'm going to enjoy it and not take it for granted because it's here. Yeah, Diva is saying this episode not your favorite. That's kind of what I said at the beginning of this chat. I think both episodes from this season have just been okay, and I felt like this episode was actually not as good as last week's, and I didn't think last week's was fabulous. But it's the start of a new season, so I'm hoping it'll pick up. And Issa said on Twitter that next week's episode is one of her favorites. So that kind of gives me hope that I feel like really nothing happened in this episode. So I'm hoping that something kind of good is going to happen next week or interesting or scandalous or something, But I guess I'm going to let you guys go. I just wanted to see if there's an interest in me doing this after every episode. And there are several of you here today, and then I know there'll be people that watch on my channel once this is no longer live. So if you can do me a favor, if you're watching this and it's no longer live, let me know if you want me to continue doing these, because it doesn't matter to me, like, if you guys can't be at the live, if you at least just want to see it on YouTube to hear, everyone's thoughts, that's fine too. I'm just trying to judge if I should do these every week or if I should just wait till the season's over and do like a whole recap, that kind of thing, which I think I did last time. But I'm totally fine with doing this every week because I have a lot of free time right now, and I know a lot of you guys have a lot of free time. So if there's a pretty decent interest in me doing them weekly, I'm totally fine with that. There's not a whole lot to talk about with these first two episodes because basically not a lot went down. But leave your comments here or on my channel once this is no longer live to let me know, like, if you're interested. But for those of you who are not watching live, it will be 3 p.m. every Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you missed this live, you can always come in the future. That is the plan. But thank you for all of you who came today. Thank you so much for your comments. And I know some people just like to watch and don't want to comment, and that's totally fine. So if you're watching or you've been watching and you're not a person that likes to talk, I appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for being here. But this is really fun for me, and I love to see other people's thoughts about the show. So I hope you guys are doing well during quarantine, or maybe some of you are even having to work during this time, because I know some people have to. So I just hope everyone's staying safe, and I hope that eventually, pretty soon, we will get through this and kind of get back to normal life. I'm really looking forward to that. But in the meantime, I'm really thankful for things like YouTube and shows like this to kind of pass the time, you know? So it was great talking to you guys. I hope you have a great day and a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.